Alrighty, 1236 where Nevada comes to talk Consumer Electronics Show. Okay. Talking with Mayor Nathan Robertson, continuing some of our off-air conversations on air. I will mention this on air, and I don't always, and here, let me turn that up a little bit so we can hear one another a little better, that the possibility of the importation of coronavirus from China might have come in through CES. Because, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to the Consumer Electronics Show.
No, I try to stay away from electronics as much as possible.
I covered it for half dozen years when I was in Vegas. And the amount of foreign people at there, primarily Asian, is huge. I mean, there are more Asians. There are more Asians there than that.
It's hard to say. In a world like today, travel. Everybody travels everywhere all the time. You just don't know where it came from or who brought it.
And Vegas is rife with Japanese, Chinese, huge.
A lot of tourists going through there.
When I was running the box office for the Riviera years ago, the late great Riviera, we saw more JAL credit cards than anything.
Yeah,
Japanese airline. I mean, it was Japan Airlines, I should say. Anyway, it's our regular afternoon chat with Mayor Nathan Robertson of Ely, and one of the things I want to touch on before we get to your things is we keep encouraging people social distancing, stay at home as best you can. Going to the grocery store is not a major social activity. You don't bring your kids with you. How much of this have you seen? I mean, this is, we're hearing from a number of places that this is getting out of control, and the kids don't especially, if you're talking 3-4-year-olds, they don't understand social distancing.
No, they're kind of like dogs. They don't understand social distancing. It's just what they do. And, I don't, I'll say this, in my time at the grocery store in the morning, I have noticed that, when I started, an elderly couple would come together. Now they don't do that. One will come by themselves.
Yep.
There haven't ever been too many or any kids up at that during
no.
the senior hour in the morning anyway. And that's usually the time I'm there, so I don't know that I've witnessed any of that firsthand. And, sometimes maybe that's the only option for the parent. They don't have anybody else at home watching the kid. Maybe they've got to take them. And we would hope that if there's any possibility that you can leave people home rather than going out in the pack, that you do.
Yeah, and I wanted to get my baseball bat out of the car or my foldable cane out of the car and smash parents, because there was a whole family, mother, father, and 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they're walking into Ridley's. And I'm going, do you folks not get this? There is a significant belief that people still don't believe this is real.
Well, I'm sure there's always some people here and there that are going to either not understand the directions or they don't believe it's serious, and there'll always be some people like that. But like I've said, by and large, what I've observed is most people, by far most people in our community, are really doing a great job with this.
So let's get to your goodies first before we get to dealing with this.
Oh, so a couple things that we wanted to touch bases on today. The water treatment plant, the sewer water treatment plant, has noticed quite a few blue gloves coming through. We just want to make sure that if you're using anything like gloves or masks or anything like that, those don't go down the toilet or don't get flushed in any way. They go in the trash can. Only toilet paper down the toilet. By and large, it hasn't been a problem, but they have noticed some of these coming through, and we want to just make sure that we reiterate to people that anything like that, anything that is not toilet paper, goes in the trash can.
And no flushable wipes. Even though they say they're flushable, they're not.
Most of the time they are not. So if you're using those as well, make sure you just put them in the trash can there in the bathroom and tie them up and take them out.
That's, folks, let's get real here, okay? Let's, no paper towels, no socks, Get a bidet. If worse comes to worse, go over to Bath Lumber or whatever hardware store you have that is open. Tell them I sent you by and tell them you need a bidet. Most people don't know what a bidet is. B-I-D-E-T. Look it up.
Well, and there's
Or
just
Tabo. Look up Tabo. T-A-B-O. You'll figure that one out fast.
however you choose to do that. I do know that they did. There was quite a bit of toilet paper at the grocery store this morning when I was there, and I know
Yay.
people have been posting on Facebook that it's been at the dollar store and some other places, so we're starting to catch back up. Don't despair too much. I think things are starting to even out a little bit in the supply chain, so just make sure you're checking in there, and if you need some, go get some.
Yeah. By and large, well, go ahead with the rest of your stuff before I get to numbers here.
On that, there was something someone told me about that some people had gone up and put some nice positive chalk messages on the sidewalk up there at the Sheriff's Department for our Sheriff's deputies, just expressing their appreciation for the job they're doing, and I thought that was great. And just a general shout out to certainly our city staff who's been working hard at keeping things going, our county employees, any of our utility workers, be that, Mount Wheeler Power, any of the others, Suburban Propane, those people who've been out making sure that people have what they need to stay at home. Anybody of those people on the front line, convenience store workers, checkers, truckers, all those people. I mean, they're really out there exposing themselves, and they're doing a good job. So,
sewer water landfill bills, they are due. Are you guys following along with what was suggested that you won't do turnoffs for now?
yeah, and that was a request from the governor, and we're not doing any turnoffs for non-payment right now. But those bills are still due, and just like we've been talking about, if there's extenuating circumstances, everybody in your household has been laid off, whether that's for your power bill or for your city bills, or if you've got a mortgage or a rent, make sure you're talking to the people whose bills these are. If you've got a concern, call the city, call Mount Wheeler Power, call your lender, call your landlord, and you won't be evicted, you won't have things turned off during this emergency, but these bills are still due. This is how we make the systems work.
Yes.
So make sure you're contacting them and working something out. There's things we can do, and that would go for anybody. If you're having food problems, you can't afford food. If you're having other problems, if you're a small business in our community or anywhere that is having some problems, make sure you're calling social services. If you're a small business, go on the SBA website. I did last night and signed up for some emergency loans. It was easy. I was able to get some help from my banker and the accountant that I use, and I got it done in maybe 30, 40 minutes.
What people forget is not only is he the mayor of Ely, not only is he a part-time cashier at Ridley's that doesn't get paid. We joke about that, and we got we've got to look at that with our sense of humor, right?
Everybody who comes through my line looks at it as sense of humor.
Sense of humor, yeah. But he is also a small businessman who has been impacted by this.
Well, and I know we've had some calls and people say, well, so-and-so's business is open, they're not hurting, and you're going, this has affected everybody, whether you're open or closed, whether you're trying to make payroll on a reduced patronage, or whether you're just an essential service that's trying to service people who can't pay, or whatever it is. Everybody has been impacted by this.
There is less money out there to go around right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not by design. It's just going to happen. And so everybody needs to be patient about this and understand that right now, we need to do what we can do. And lenders understand. Lenders know what's going on. Most landlords, I say most, there are a couple in town that I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to mention any names, but some probably won't understand. But the bottom line is, and here's the deal: everybody's got money issues out of this. The landlord's got issues out of this because he's got notes to pay.
We can't just move the problem from one group of people to another group of people and just move it around. We've all got to work together. So if, like I said, if you are having problems, make sure you're availing yourself of the resources in our community.
Yeah.
There we have food banks, we have White Pine County Social Services. Call those people, your utility company, call your mortgage lender. call who you need to. If you need to work some of this stuff out, if you're in the seat that you can still pay, count yourself lucky and fortunate, and keep doing that. But yeah, just avail yourself of these programs and resources that are out there. I strongly encourage that.
Yeah, I want to mention the White Pine Ministerial Association Food Bank is open this afternoon from 4:30 until 6:30. They're behind the Garnet Mercantile at 371 Clark Street. They'll be happy to help you. And by the way, if you've got extra food, take it by, because they always need help and they're always there. Of course, you know the Christmas dinner that they put on every year comes from that food bank.
It does.
So all the help you can give them, because they're there year-round. And I know we've got temporary stuff going on up at the Aquatic Center
there,
but that's mostly for emergency overflow. Make sure you take care of these ministries and these food banks that are there year-round for us.
I mean, we've really got some great resources in our community, so make sure, please don't suffer in silence. Don't worry and fret without doing something. Make sure you're availing yourself of these.
Any other things that we need to bring out today on your end of the world?
I don't believe so. Just a reminder about the travel advisory. I had a few questions about that. People saying, well, are they going to be enforcing this? Am I going to get pulled over if I try to leave town? Are the borders closed?
No.
None of that. It is an advisory, and if you have to travel out of state or you have to travel out of the area, like the governor's advisory says, make sure you are adhering really strictly to that social distancing. If you come back and you're able at all to be able to quarantine yourself for, the 14 days, please do that. We know that it won't be realistic for everybody, but anything you can do helps this situation. So that's what we're looking at.
The current numbers we are up to 38 deaths right now from this in the state. We have still only one case in White Pine County. We are extremely fortunate.
We are. Absolutely.
There are rumors floating around that there are additional cases. We know this not to be verified.
Right. That's not the case. Currently, we just have the one case. There was some talk earlier in the week about a second case that had been diagnosed in Las Vegas. The person actually lives up here and we're quarantined here, but that information had gotten a little muddled, I guess, between the Las Vegas and the hospital. So they will be fixing that. That person actually lives in North Las Vegas, and that's where they're going to be. So they followed up on that, like they always do in any other information they get. And so we're currently just at the one.
Yeah, 1 in White Pine County, 5 in Elko. They are now up to 7 in Humboldt County.
Yeah.
163 in Washoe County with 4 passings there. Story County, Still Clair, Lyon County, Carson City, 9 cases, 8 isolated at home, 1 recovered, 6 cases in Douglas County. I mean, this tells you how lucky we are. 2 cases in Lyon County, and they don't have half the resources we do.
Right. I mean, we're in a pretty, considering a lot of other places by comparison, we're not in a bad position at all. One of the other questions that came across my desk today was, should we be, in light of the stay-at-home order, should we not be visiting other members of our immediate family who don't live with us? So, someone lives across town, we've been going and having dinner, that kind of thing. I live across the street from my grandparents. I have not seen them now since March, the middle of March. And
that's not just because you're so busy. It's because you're.
I call them. I make sure they're doing okay. I'm probably out and about more than most people.
You wave through the window to them.
I do. It's just not, to me, it's not worth the risk of having to explain, hey, how did they get this? They're in their 80s. I don't want to be the one that gives them that.
And you're out in the public probably as much, if not more, than anybody.
Yeah, and that's certainly not by choice, but it's just the fact of the situation. And so, in order to not put them at risk, we try to keep our distance there, and I see, just on a personal note, as I'm seeing people in the community, as I hear the questions come in, I do notice, I hear the concern in people's voices, and I know what's going up, and I know we're concerned about the situation. I know we're all feeling pressures, financial and social pressures and isolation and so many other things, but I need you to know that we're all in this together.
Yeah.
I need you to know that we're doing everything we can, and we just need to, I know we've got 28 more days of this to deal with, but we'll make it.
Restarting the counter was easier than having a funeral for somebody.
It definitely is.
It really is.
Yeah.
Ely Mayor Nathan Robertson with us here on the Nevada Talk Network, and we will chat with him tomorrow. And if you have questions, you can email them to us, nevadatalknet@gmail.com, or through Facebook, facebook.com/Nevada Talk Network. Get back to John David Wells here in just a moment, where Nevada comes to talk.